Hey guys, we are live. Hope this is, hope you can see me. Just had to edit my settings. So I just finished teaching a class to a group of early childhood providers. And what we were talking about, I wanted to come on and just share briefly because I think it's such a important topic. And it's professionalism, professional standards versus personal morals, right? And understanding that there's a big difference between the two, and understanding that the things that you may value as a person may or may not align with what is required for you from a professional standard, and just understanding and discerning the difference, especially when it comes to how you are in relationship with your colleagues. So we did this thing in class where we did a chart and we said, here are the personal morals, here are some of our personal morals, and then here are some of the professional standards. And one of the ones I want to talk about tonight, which I think is so important, is this one. It was number 4 on our chart. Your personal moral may be that you value peace over avoiding confrontation. That may be your personal moral or your personal value. But the professional and ethical standard is this: we address concerns about a colleague with respect through the proper channels. And so when I said that, one of the people raised their hands and she said, Dr. O, I had this situation and I just need some advice on it. And I want to share about this because I know she's not the only one dealing with this in her environment. So one of her colleagues was calling her a nickname that she didn't like. She was not calling her full name or Mrs. her last name. She decided that she wanted to call her this nickname. I don't know if it was because her name was too hard to pronounce or whatever. She said she addressed it with the lady and said, "No, I would like to be called this. No, I would like to be called this." And after addressing it with the lady several times, the lady continued to call her by said nickname. So she went to her administration through a proper email and said, "Can something could be done about this?" So they had a meeting, and she said in the meeting, the her colleague was crying and, oh, felt so, I don't didn't know you took it this serious, or whatever the case may be. She thought the problem was solved. Fast forward to this year. She said the lady has started calling me a different nickname. So she said when she called it me the first 3 times, that she was like, I didn't even think she was talking to me. And then I realized she was talking to me. So here we go, year 2. Now she's not calling me the nickname that that I asked her to stop. It's a different nickname. Essentially, she's still not calling me by my name. Dr. O, I feel like maybe I should just leave it alone and let it ride um, for this year. What are your thoughts? She's like, because I did all the things, I went through the proper channels, we had the meeting, and now here we are, year 2, and she's come up with another nickname. Dr. O, what should I do? I said, you should address her respectfully. Every time she calls you out your name, you say, no, that's not my name. Please call me this, or please call me Mrs. That. And every time she does it, you do it. You say that. No, I'm sorry. That's not my name. Please call me this or call me that. And you don't do it with hate. You don't do it with animosity. You don't do it with attitude. It's just being very direct. This is my name. Please call me this. And then later that day, you like, you need some copies? I'm going to the copy machine. You need me to make you some copies? Hey, you sitting with anybody for lunch? You need a partner? Because again, I'm addressing this with no hate, no animosity in my heart towards you. This is just what I want to be called. This is not personal. This is what I want to be called. And she said, well, Dr. O, I tried to do that last year. And then we had this meeting, and then she was crying, and she can cry. Her emotional instability has nothing to do with the boundaries that you set. This is my name. This is what I would like to be called. Do not speak up for yourself because you're worried about someone else. Because now you're letting their emotional stability or instability move the needle in what it is that you're trying to do. And if you continue to address it to her and you get to 4 or 5 times and she's not changing, you send the email again. You have the meeting again because a message needs to be sent. This is my name. This is what I want to be called. And sometimes we try to avoid conflict because we want peace. And I told her, I said, but let me tell you something. You're not going to have peace because now you're going to start spinning a narrative about how disrespectful and rude this colleague is, and you're going to spin that narrative, and then you're not going to like her, and that's going to create a toxic environment. And the more you don't address it, the more she's going to be comfortable with it, the more she's going to call you this nickname, the more you're going to get upset, and it's just going to create a toxic environment. This is my boundary. You call me by my name. And every time you get called out your name, you say, no, I'm sorry. Maybe you forgot. My name is Mrs. Harris or Dr. O. That's what I want to be called. Okay. And you move on. Not with hate, not with animosity, because my boundary has nothing to do with you. My boundary is about me. And if you don't like my boundary or my boundary makes you uncomfortable, that's a you problem, not a me problem. So it's super important that when it comes to professionalism and professional standards, you have to hold people accountable. You have to set up boundaries. And that's why I said on my TikTok last week, for those of you that don't follow me yet, you need to follow me on TikTok. I said, stop calling your coworkers and your colleagues friends. If they have not earned that title, do not call them that, because when you call somebody friend, you set up expectation within yourself. And then when they don't acquiesce to the level of what you think a friend should be, you get your feelings hurt, you get upset. You are a professional acquaintance. Can professional acquaintances turn into friends? Absolutely. It happens all the time. Some of my closest friends are people that I've taught with back in the day that I don't teach with anymore, but they're still they're friends. But did they start out that way? No, they did not. So when it comes to professionalism and professional standards, you don't sacrifice your boundaries on the altar of someone else's comfort. You don't sacrifice your boundaries on the altar of someone else's comfort. You establish your boundaries in the professional working environment, and you hold to those. And it's not with animosity, it's not with hate, it's not with any of that, because my boundaries aren't about you. And if my boundaries make you upset and make you cry and make you uncomfortable, that is not my problem. That's your problem. And she said, okay, Dr. O, yeah, you're right. I know I'm right. You got to address her every time she says it, because she has to know that you're serious about this. This is your name. This is what you want to be called. If you didn't want to be called that and you were okay or her calling you Miss Pookie, whatever she calls her, then cool. But you're not okay with it. So you have to speak up for yourself. And don't be going around her back and talking about her to other colleagues and having little water cooler gossip sessions. This is not high school. This is an early childhood learning center where professional working environment and professional working relationships impact student outcomes. Professional relationships within early childhood education impact student outcomes. So you got to make sure that these relationships are rooted in professionalism, are rooted in respect. That's all I had to say. I just want to say that because it is so important on my notes, because it's so important that we know what professionalism is and what our personal beliefs are. And they're two separate things. Two separate things. I'm done. Make sure you follow me at STEM Early on Instagram and on Facebook. And make sure you follow me, Dr. O, on TikTok. And again, if you are looking for professional development in the areas of love and understanding and what it means to have a mindset shift, because that is the foundation of all positive education and positive learning environments, make sure you reach out to me. We have a free resource that's somewhere on this page that you can get if you are the person that's responsible for bringing in professional development for your organization. We have 2 year-long partnerships left for school year 2025-2026. So if you're interested in a year-long partnership, please let us know. We have 2 slots left for next school year. All right, so I'm gone. I will see y'all next time. Remember, STEM early, STEM often. And I think this is how you end the stream.